Bienvenidos, Naranja County. Soy Alejandra Bueno.
And I'm Matt Takahashi, and welcome to another episode of SGN OC, where we put the O in, oh my goodness, now that's good news! And speaking of good news, here's some good news. The famous Mariachi Nationals are returning to town for a one-day master's workshop dedicated to celebrating and preserving the art of mariachi. The workshop will be held on August 6th at Santa Ana College. The class is intended for advanced students and educators. For more information about the masterclass, visit www.mariachinationals.com. For 90-year-old Antonio Rangel, if there's a job to do at American Legion Post 277, he's probably done it. He's been a member for decades and for one simple reason. He loves it. Before he served the Placentia American Legion, Rangel served his country in the Army. The veteran has been honored before. In 1989, he was named Placentia Citizen of the Year. Now fellow Legionnaires are honoring him by naming the post after him. It's a big honor that Rangel says he never expected. And he didn't celebrate alone. His kids and grandkids were with him. And of course, his Legion family was there to celebrate too. The Orange County Fair is back. After being canceled last year because of the pandemic, the fair is welcoming back guests for classic deep-fried foods and gravity-defying rides. The theme this year is appropriately called Time for Fun. The fair runs through August 15th, and you can reserve tickets online by visiting www.ocfair.com. Back to you, Alex.
And now it's time for some passive parenting, or PEEPee, where we remind you what you're doing is good enough.
What are you doing?
I'm bored.
Go bang your head against the wall.
Mom.
Only boring people are bored.
PEEPee tip number 9, beating the heat. Now, if you're like me, you hate the heat and everything that comes with it. Or at least you get the illusion of working out with all that sweating you're doing. But the heat can be especially brutal for children. So we've come up with a few tips to help you out. Tip number 1, create an ice vest. Stick it on the kid, and bam, he's a walking refrigerator. Number 2, put ice cubes in their French braids. Okay? Because I hear that as long as the head is cool, the rest of your body will be cool too. Number 3, and my personal favorite, stick their clothes in the freezer the night before. They'll thank you once they've been out the house for 5 minutes. This tip brought to you by Mommies Anonymous. Matt?
Did you see that? Whoa, it was some sort of encounter of the chance variety. Oh, take it away, James.
Hello!
Hi.
Hi, Nicole. Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you so much to both of you for joining me today. This is the first time that I get to talk to people about a show that I got to work on. So I just want to say, congratulations, Elizabeth and Nicole. The show's been getting great reviews. Elizabeth, you got some amazing reviews, and LA Times, excellent review there. What was the first thing that engaged you or hooked you about this show?
The composers were what grabbed me, knowing the quality of Pasek and Paul's work. I wanted to see and be a part of the origin story of okay, the first thing they ever wrote, this could be cool. But yeah, for me it was the name drop potential.
So this is great because these are things that I don't know.
That each song is a microcosm of a story. That each song has its own little picture that just wraps it up really nicely. All of them have really good gut punches. All of the songs in general, I feel have these really great the dichotomy of the story, starting in one place and then completely ending in a different place, and the unexpected.
What has it been like working on a song cycle for both of you? Like, have you ever worked on a song cycle before? Because of course, for those that don't know, there's 16 songs that we're doing. They're thematically connected, but there's no narrative or story per se overarching. There are individual stories that are connected by theme, and there's no dialogue outside of the song. So have you done that before? What has that been like?
Yeah, I would say it's my first song cycle. And from a stage management perspective, it's actually kind of exhausting. Like, it's funny because our show is only about an hour and 20 minutes, but it never stops. Whereas like in a typical musical, I'm used to like big song number, and then we get like a scene to break it up where it's like just dialogue. But with Edges, it's like we've taken all of those songs from the 2.5-hour musical and we've put them back to back to back to back to back.
I've never done a song cycle before. I have done some really long shows that I feel like were less tiring than this. Especially since my track in particular has a lot of song, costume change, song sandwiches, and even some quick changes as well. Not until the very end of the show do I have time to like sit in my chair and be like, it's going well. I was talking to Sarah about this the other day, one of our castmates, that the challenge of the song cycle is having so few moments to interact and connect with a scene partner that is not the audience. Not having another person to react to in the moment. Inventing a lot of it for yourself and setting the scene for yourself.
Elizabeth, do you have a favorite song or a favorite character that you get to perform?
I think my favorite song to sing is Lying There. I think it's beautifully written, both the music and the lyrics. And it's the only quiet moment for me in what otherwise is a pretty boisterous track. So I always just treasure that time of like, it's quiet, it's raining because of the sound effects, and I don't know. I love that. I love spending time in that world so much. But probably the most fun and the one I feel like the least nervous about, because I have a scene partner and we have a great time, is Better with Tyler. No matter what happens, like no matter what goes awry or new surprises or a new laugh from the audience, like we're just, I have so much trust in him. We have great chemistry, I think, at least from the inside looking in. And he's a blast to perform with, so that's probably my two favorites.
This question is seriously one of my favorite questions to ask any group, but it gives me like special pleasure this time because I directed it. And I want you to have complete freedom to answer, Elizabeth. There are no consequences for your answer. What is your least favorite moment to do 5 times a week? I want to know.
Oh my god. It's probably I Gotta Run, because I say probably, everyone knows. It's so dependent on whether or not the audience wants to get involved and root for this person who on the surface is kind of like shallow, and that girl you like hated in high school. So like I come out onto the stage with like all these stories of all these guys I dumped. I don't care, living my best life. And I'm asking the audience to root for me, and they're just looking at me like just stain.
What has been the most fun or rewarding part of the process for you or the show?
For the first show back in the space, since this is the first show that the Chance is doing back in live theater after 16 months of being closed, just the gratitude of the audience, of just being in this space and getting to experience theater. Our managing director, Casey, always starts his curtain speech when he comes out with "Welcome back to live theater." And no matter how big the house or how little the house it is always like some of the biggest applause. Maybe minus like the curtain call at the end, but it just always gets a response that's just so grateful, and you can just feel that energy in the room. And so it's been, specifically for this show, the best part about it.
What has been the most challenging aspect of this?
Counting literally minutes. There's this moment, the one that James is alluding to is there's this moment, I think it was literally during it was the second to last rehearsal before we went into opening, our final preview into opening. And I'm sitting upstairs, literally like counting minutes. Like James and I are like counting minutes, and I'm like writing them down and like typing something in my keyboard while you guys are like cleaning music with Robin or whatever. And I'm literally, and James is just laughing at me like, I have to document this. And he pulls out his phone and starts filming like the ridiculousness of like what's going on.
A chance encounter is a fortuitous accident. So we end all our interviews with this question. What unexpected experience have you had working on Edges that is having a lasting impact on you?
I think that just the fortuitousness of it is, and I feel like a broken record saying this, but this show will stick with me for a long time just because of the meaning and the point at which it came in life. Just it being the first show back with a live audience and having it reopen the space in which I love and which I call my artistic home, that I'm just so grateful it's with the group of people that it was.
I think what I will take away from this is the gift of vulnerability. This show is an exploration of the human experience. Granted, it focuses on a certain age group, but there are some timeless lessons and things that everyone can relate to. And for me, it was the most that I've ever, shattered the fourth wall in a theatrical experience, in a musical of any kind. And that was so terrifying, but awesome.
I'll break from tradition and share a couple of mine. This really wonderful experience of working with you, Elizabeth, and working with Jewel and Tyler and Sarah, because it's pretty rare, at least for me as a director, to work with a cast of people that you have never worked with before, an entire cast. Usually you're bringing in like one or two people that you've worked with before. And I'd met Tyler and Sarah. I'd seen some of their work, but I'd never worked with them. And you and Jewel, I'd never seen your work at all before your audition. And it was just really special to get to like be in a room with four people, an entire cast of artists all getting to know each other for the first time. None of you had worked together before. And in this limited amount of time to create something together, to build trust together, to get to like witness your beautiful work, and begin to get to know you as a human as well. Like that was really special for me. That's just not something you get every day. And y'all were just amazing people to work with on a daily basis. And I miss it. Like as you all are performing, I miss just being in the room with you and getting to like sharing that creativity every day. I love witnessing it and watching it, but I miss being in the room for it. But it was very fortuitous for me, I think, to have a whole cast of new artists and new people to get to know.
Are you looking for some advice or something that's advice adjacent? Well, look no further, because it's time for another installment of Dear Daryl.
Dear Daryl, during this quarantine, a number of my friends have taken up knitting, cooking, gardening, and have gotten very good at their newfound hobbies. I, however, haven't been able to master a single one. How do I look not lame in front of my friends? No Talent, Tracy.
Dear No Talent, Tracy, chances are your friends already think you're lame.
a much better person because of him. And now we give it over to my better half, Laura Hathaway.
Community Spotlight! Community Spotlight! Community Spotlight? Oh. Community Spotlight! Aha! The Orange County Theater Guild was founded in 2015 as a way for theaters in our community to unite to support each other. So when lockdown happened and theaters had to shut down, the OCTG and its members had to figure out how to keep people engaged when they couldn't simply go see a show. Under the leadership of Amanda DeMaio, president of OCTG and my guest today, the Guild is able to support local theaters and Orange County artists during the lockdown. Now that we are moving forward into a new phase of theater openings, the OC Theater Guild is picking up right where they left off, continuing to nurture, support, and promote live theater in Greater Orange County. I sat down with Amanda to learn more.
Hi, Amanda. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Hi, Laura. It's good to be here. Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Tell me a little bit about the OC Theater Guild. Like, how did it start? What created this whole guild of theaters?
Just kind of a way for folks to get together, talk about challenges that they were all having and things that they could maybe try and help each other with. You know, hey, do you have a bed, or do you have a tree, or, you know, like random things like that. And then over time, it kind of grew to things that were a little more, you know, weighty, like, hey, I need some help with marketing and I don't know how to use, you know, this new technology. So things kind of grew out of that. One of the things that we were saying very early on, and that we continue to say, is what are the things we can do together that we can't do alone? And it takes, you know, the old saying, it takes a village, and it really does. One of the things that we really felt was strong, a priority for us, was just keeping the names of the theaters alive, keeping the concept of going to theater alive in people's, you know, early days in their perception of like, oh, everything's being shut down, but we're still here. We're going to be here in some way, shape, or form. And whatever that form is, we want to just make sure that our audiences know that we're still going to be here in some way. So what we did was we created, I guess, roundtable talks. They were monthly Zoom meetings that one of our board members, Katie Chittister, would lead. And they sort of began as information and questions about like, what are your theaters going to do? Or what are organizations going to do? And then it sort of moved, I think there was one about educators and how are educators working through this crisis from a theater point of view? How are writers working through this from a theater point of view? And then it sort of evolved into spotlights for our organizations to talk about anything that they wanted to, whether it be what have they been doing, what are they doing, what do they plan to do, just anything, history about their organization, anything to just sort of keep them in the visual of people's lives. We just recently wrapped those up since theater is coming back and folks are coming back to the actual locations, Yay! Right? We're seeing audiences again. We noticed really early on in the pandemic last year that there was going to be a financial hit to a lot of people. And so one of the things that we did almost immediately was put together an Orange County Theater Artists fund, and we were able to help some folks with early on with just some quick donations, and that we were able to give to folks so that they could just, you know, finish paying their rent and buy groceries until unemployment kicked in. Of course, we have the Orange County Theater Guild Awards, and our awards program is a huge undertaking. Even though we were shut down last year, we had to strategize on how to bring everything back and then pivot really quick, because we kind of figured once things were open, we were going to just start moving along really fast. So,
and now that we're back to, or going towards hopefully normalcy or whatever this new normal is going to be, are there any specific goals kind of moving forward with the Orange County Theater Guild, or, you know, kind of picking up where you left off?
I think right now we're picking up where we left off.
And then how can people get involved?
The Orange County Theater Guild is open for individual members and also organizational members, and you can visit our website. So you could go to our website. There's all the information that you need on that site. There are also committees that we have that you do not need to be a member to be a part of. We are looking for folks to join the EDIA committee. Again, there's information on our website. You can just send us an email and we'll get that. We'll send you a Zoom message or information back to let you know when our next meeting is. There are lots of volunteer opportunities otherwise.
Thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to come and talk to me today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm grateful for the opportunity.
How weird is it that my background for that interview looked just like the Chance Theater classroom? Crazy, right? Anyway, visit the OC Theater Guild website for more information about how to get involved, donate, and more. Back to you, Alex.
That was bitchin', is what the kids used to say. So now it's time to give it over to our youth correspondent, Christopher D.
Ooh, yeah, we replaced him.
What? Why?
Well, he's no longer considered youth, so.
How old is he?
23.
Yikes. This just in, Christopher Diem is deemed too old to be considered a youth. Well then, who's gonna take his place?
Oh, hello. Didn't see you there. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is James Tran. For the past year, I've been the mastermind of the show that you're watching right now. You may have seen me, or rather heard me, in the past. Let's take a look.
What's up with your camera angle?
Look, I heard that the camera adds 10 pounds, okay? So I figured if I just turned the camera this way, then it would look like I lost 10 pounds.
Sharing her love of drama with budding thespians for longer than the person who edits this show has been alive.
Don't start with me, Laura.
Ah, good times. Now, as the resident young person at the Chance Theater, I'd like to teach you some lingo that the current youth of the world are saying, in a segment we like to call What the Kids Are Saying These Days. We'll begin with the term pog, meaning awesome or hype. Originating as a Twitch emote in the form of PogChamp, Pog and its alternative versions such as Poggers has captured the world of not only gamers, but the young masses as well. Pog can be used as an adjective to describe a person, place, thing, or performance that has impressed you. Wow, the Chance Theater's production of Sweat was really Pog. The editor truly is a PogChamp. Pog can also be used as a verb to address someone who has impressed you or someone you might admire. Thanks for spending so much time and effort on SGN, James. Pog you! Next up, we have RIP. Now you may know this term as an acronym for Rest in Peace. And you'd be right. However, instead of just using it to mourn the passing of a loved one or maybe the death of a celebrity who peaked in the 90s, the youth often use this as a response in the context of an unfortunate situation. Man, I've been meaning to try this new sushi place in the circle for a while, and when I finally ate there, it was just bad. RIP. Finally, we have no cap, also spelled as no followed by a hat emoji. This term means no joke, no lie, or for real. It is used when one statement may be interpreted as hyperbolic or unrealistic. For example, let me show you a sentence that I use on occasion. I'm about to eat all 5 of these Crunchwrap Supremes in 5 minutes. No cap. Now that concludes our segment, What the Kids Are Saying These Days. I hope you learned some new vernacular that you can now use in your daily life. And you can finally hold your own in a conversation with those high schoolers who make fun of you for eating alone in the Taco Bell parking lot every Saturday night. Back to you, Alex.
Thank you, James. That was Pog. No cap. And now it's time to inform you on all things Chance.
Edges. Playing through Sunday, August 8th, is our OC premiere of the first musical by Pasek and Paul. Don't miss the show that critics are calling, quote, a terrific talent showcase for a quartet of upcoming musical theater stars. Yellow Man. The OC premiere of this Pulitzer finalist celebrates language and the human spirit while exploring the challenges of overcoming the biases we inherit from our family and community. OTR Shooter. A new play by our 2020 resident playwright, Krista Knight, about the concerns of a college playwriting professor when one of her students brings in a draft of a highly violent play. Cyber Chat for Edges. Did you miss your chance to talk to the cast and crew of Edges when you came to see the show? Sign up for free to chat it up on Friday, August 13th at 8 p.m.
Veterans Speak Up. We are now recruiting veterans to be part of our next 6-session program that culminates in a live performance that recounts personal experiences. Target Circle. We know you love Target, so tell Target you want them to support bold, personal, and intimate theater in Orange County by joining the Target Circle and voting for the chance by September 30th. And finally, the Gala. This year's fundraiser is called Broadway is Back, and so is the Chance, and will be hosted at the beautiful Anaheim Hills home of Betty and Wiley Aitken, starting at 3 p.m. on September 25th. All proceeds will go directly to support Chance Theater's education and outreach programs, new plays, and local artists.
And most importantly, we want to hear from you, OC. Send us your good news, stories, pictures, videos. Send them our way. Email us at goodnews@chancetheater.com and help us highlight local heroes and moments of joy. For SGNOC, I'm Matt Takahashi.
And I'm Alex Bueno. Until next time, stay citrus, Orange County. Woo! Another show done and in the pocket. Yep. Get down! Is that fireworks? Oh, man. God, these fireworks are just going on again and again. I mean, what the? You know, I swear that one day, I swear I thought that was a gunshot. I will tell you something. Start pummeling people, knocking people off their firework machines, maybe pop bubble wrap next to their ears so they know what it feels like to hear fireworks so booming so much. Has this thing been on the whole time?